This project is essentially an exercise in photojournalism. What I tried to do was put together a set of photographs that explored the idea of where tradition and identity meet to allow a person to express who they are and what they are. I spent a year and a half traveling around Scotland, exploring the idea of what it means to be Scottish and Jewish at the beginning of the 21st century. How do Jews in Scotland express their Scottishness and their Jewishness in a way that gives their life meaning? One of the more iconic photographs to come out of the project is this one of D. Lyons, the sheep farmer in Loch Gilphead up in the Scottish Highlands. I'd given myself 4 days to come away with a photograph that would explain her sense of tradition and sense of identity. But in fact, the photograph for the project was a photograph that I took on my very first day there. This photograph in the Glasgow Deli really speaks volumes to me about what it means to be not just Scottish, but also Jewish. Food is an essential component of Jewish life, and this is a photograph taken about 15 minutes before closing time on a Friday afternoon, just before the Sabbath comes in. The server behind the counter is beginning to lose her mind over the dithering by the customer over which brand of chopped liver she should be buying for the Sabbath. One of the more fascinating aspects of the project for me was to be able to see how much of a hold on tradition people have in the more remote corners of Scotland. This picture taken on a Friday night in Lerwick up in the Shetland Islands, a Friday night dinner welcoming the Jewish Sabbath, and the man seated at the table uses candlesticks brought over to the Shetlands by his immigrant mother 80 years before. These are candlesticks that she handed down to him, and he uses every Friday night to light the candles to welcome the Sabbath. The initial premise behind this project was that I would be documenting a community in decline. In fact, what I discovered as I traveled around Scotland was that Scotland's Jewish community is anything but in decline. I don't think it's so much a question of counting noses. It's more about what kind of quality of life does this community, whatever its size, offer itself. And the fact of the matter is that regardless of what the numbers are, Scotland's Jewish community is vibrant, alive, aware of its past, acknowledges the traditions of the past, but has a firm eye on both the present and the future.